I just wanted to talk to you about something that I've struggled with, and maybe you have too. Perfectionism. It can be so easy to get caught up in this idea of making everything just right. The perfect plan, the perfect timing, the perfect result. But the truth is, chasing perfection can stop us from even getting started. I've had moments where I built something up in my head, whether it was a big goal, a dream trip, or even just a simple project. And when it actually happened, it didn't feel as magical as I thought it would. Have you ever been so excited for something, only to feel kind of meh when it finally arrived? But here's the thing. Looking back, those moments still turned into some of my best memories. And over time, I realized that the problem wasn't the experience itself. It was my expectation of how it should feel. I've learned that the best things in life aren't perfect. They're real. The messy, unexpected, unplanned parts. That's where the magic actually happens. So if you've been waiting for the right time to start something, this is your sign. Do it messy. Do it scared. Just do it. Because at the end of the day, progress will always be better than waiting for perfect. And when you look back, you won't remember whether everything went exactly how you planned. You'll remember that you had the courage to try. You know what's funny? When we look back on the best moments of our lives, we don't remember everything exactly as it happened. The little annoyances, the discomfort, the waiting, they all fade. But the good parts, they somehow shine even brighter. Maybe you've traveled somewhere far, explored new places, tasted unfamiliar foods. You come home and reminisce about that incredible little restaurant in Tokyo, the amazing broth you had, the warm wooden decor, the kindness of the people. What you don't immediately recall is how unbearably hot it was, the exhaustion of long airport layovers, or the sheer struggle of staying awake at 4 a.m., clutching your suitcase, trying not to miss your flight. And yet, those moments mattered too. The waiting, the exhaustion, the unexpected hiccups, they were all part of the story. They weren't necessarily pleasant, but they were necessary to create something even more valuable, the memory itself. Life is the same way. The journey won't always be easy, smooth, or picture perfect. But later, when you look back, you won't focus on the struggles. You'll remember how far you've come, the lessons you've learned, the beauty in the chaos. Every experience, good or bad, is shaping something greater. So embrace it all, the highs, the lows, the imperfect moments in between, because one day you'll look back and realize it was always worth it. Life has a funny way of reminding us that perfection is an illusion. No matter how much we plan, how carefully we envision things going a certain way, something unexpected always happens, and that's okay. Take today, for example. I was just washing dishes, going about my day, and somehow managed to slice my finger open on a knife I didn't even think was sharp. Now I've got this makeshift bandage wrapped around it, and suddenly, even the simplest tasks, even typing this, holding a camera, using cutlery, are just a little bit harder. It's frustrating, but that's life, isn't it? These little unexpected setbacks show up when we least expect them. And it's not just about small accidents. It happens with big dreams too. You finally land that dream job, and at first, it's everything you imagined. But then, little things start creeping in. A difficult coworker, a demanding boss, the stress of expectations. Suddenly, the thing you once fantasized about just becomes a job. The magic fades a little. The same thing happens with creative passions. Turning a hobby into a career can sometimes take away the very joy that made you love it in the first place. But here's the thing, imperfection is not failure. The messy parts, the struggles, the moments that don't go as planned, they are part of the experience. If you spend your life chasing perfection, waiting for the perfect moment or the perfect outcome, you'll always end up disappointed, because nothing is perfect. Instead of striving for some unattainable, flawless reality, embrace the imperfections, the bumps in the road, the unexpected detours, the small annoyances. They don't take away from the experience. They are the experience. So don't let the fear of imperfection hold you back. Start the thing. Take the risk. Step into the unknown. Let life be messy. Let it be unpredictable, because that's where the real magic happens. Life is like stepping stones on a foggy path. You can only see the next step in front of you, never the entire road ahead. And that's terrifying, isn't it? We want clarity. We want certainty. We want to know that we're heading in the right direction. But life doesn't work like that. Instead, we move forward one uncertain step at a time, adjusting as we go. No matter how much you plan, something will always change. You might write a song, only to realize that the solo you imagined just doesn't fit. You might paint a picture, only to discover that oils weren't the right medium after all. You might see a beautiful destination online, dreaming of visiting, only to arrive and realize it doesn't feel as magical as you expected. And that's okay, because life isn't about chasing a perfect vision. It's about adapting, evolving, and finding meaning in what's already in front of you. Too often, we either live in the past, rehashing old memories, clinging to better times, unable to move forward, or we live in the future, always planning, always waiting for the right moment to begin. But the future is just as much of a trap as the past. You can spend your whole life dreaming about what you'll do someday. Once you have the money, once you have the time, once you have the confidence. And before you know it, someday never comes. The key to a fulfilling life isn't in chasing what you don't have. It's in embracing what you do have right now. Instead of constantly reaching for something just out of grasp, learn to shift your perspective. Find value in the present. Find joy in what's in front of you. The dream isn't some distant destination. It's the steps you take every day to build it. So take that step, even if the path ahead is foggy, even if the plan changes along the way. Because real happiness isn't in the perfect outcome. It's in the journey itself. We spend so much time thinking about what we want, what we'll do once we're ready, once we have the right resources, once we feel capable. We set goals, make plans, and tell ourselves that one day we'll have it all figured out. But the truth is, there is no perfect moment. There is only now. You don't need to wait for the ideal conditions to take action. You don't need to have the best, the latest, or the most expensive things to enjoy life. If you keep believing that happiness is tied to what you don't have yet, you'll always be chasing, never satisfied. Because once you get what you wanted, another desire will take its place. It's a never-ending cycle, a road with no final destination. Instead, find joy in what's already within reach. Work with what you have. Appreciate the simple things, the small pleasures, the everyday victories, the imperfect moments that make life real. You don't need grand gestures or extravagant experiences to feel fulfilled. Sometimes, happiness is as simple as a cheap pizza that tastes just as good as the expensive one, or a spontaneous trip to a place you never expected to love. And while it's good to reflect, to learn from philosophy, from ideas, from others' experiences, don't get stuck in overthinking. Thinking about life is not the same as living it. You can read every book, study every philosophy, and craft the most intricate plan. But if you never take a step forward, none of it matters. Happiness isn't something you unlock through thinking. It's something you create through action. So let go of the idea that you need more to be happy. Let go of the fear that you need to have everything figured out before you begin. Live in the now, not in the past, not in the future. Just here, just today. Because this moment, this is your life, and it's already enough. You've probably seen those videos, the ones that tell you to just be happy, to live in the present, to smile through your struggles like it's all that simple. But let's be real, it's not that simple. Life doesn't work like that. You can't just block out your problems or pretend your struggles don't exist. You can't create a perfect world where nothing ever goes wrong, because things will go wrong. Some things will go catastrophically wrong. And when they do, it's not about forcing yourself to be happy or pretending it doesn't hurt. It's about embracing the reality of imperfection, about understanding that life is messy, unpredictable, and sometimes unfair. That doesn't mean you have to celebrate pain. If you're struggling, if life has thrown you into a situation that feels impossible, whether it's losing a job, facing rejection, or even finding yourself in a place you never thought you'd be, it's okay to feel it. It's okay to hurt, but it's also okay to move forward, because that's what resilience is. Not ignoring the bad, but choosing to keep going despite it. Not pretending life is perfect, but finding meaning in the imperfection. Things won't always go your way, but if you can accept that, if you can embrace the unexpected, the flawed, the unplanned, you'll realize that life was never meant to be perfect. It was meant to be lived.